My name is Lisa, and today I'd like to talk to you about the OTDA Prison Match, its sources, processing, and best practices. As you may be aware, the Prison Match is a monthly match against the universe of active TA or temporary assistance and SNAP or Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program recipients. The source of an individual prison hit will inform how you need to process that hit, so it is important to be able to recognize where your prison hit has come from. The four possible sources of a prison match hit are the Division of Criminal Justice Services, or DCJS, the Department of Corrections and Community Supervision, or DOCS, DOCCS, Rikers Island Prison, or the Social Services Administration, or SSA, prison database. Now let's discuss each of these sources. The Division of Criminal Justice Services, or DCJS database, includes information on local jails who report to DCJS. Now, while most local jails do report to DCJS, they are not required to do so. So it may turn out that a local jail in your area is not reporting to DCJS and therefore will not have information available within the prison match. DCJS hits are considered verified upon receipt per policy, so they may be acted upon immediately once received. Since they are verified upon receipt, single-person cases in a DCJS prison match hit will be auto-closed at the state level, while multi-person cases will be sent to the district for review and resolution. You can identify a DCJS prison match hit in the system with the record source type DCJS. The second source type is the Department of Corrections and Community Supervision, also known as DOCS or DOCCS. This database is comprised of information from New York State prisons and is also verified upon receipt per policy, and single individual person cases are auto-closed, again at the state level. Multi-person cases, like DCJS, are sent to you at the district for review and resolution. And you can identify a DOCS hit in the system with a record source type DOCS, DOCS. The third possible source is the Rikers Island Prison database. This is comprised of information only from Rikers Island Prison and therefore mostly applicable to New York City HRA cases, although it is possible an upstate district could have a case come up with Rikers Island Prison information. Like the other prior matches we've discussed, it is verified upon receipt and auto-closed at the state level, while multi-person cases are resolved at the district level by you, the investigator. They can be identified in the system with a record source type RIKE, R-I-K-E. Now, the first three data sources we've discussed today have been verified upon receipt, but the fourth one is a little bit different. It is the Social Services Administration, or SSA, prison database, which contains information on federal prisons and prisons outside of New York State. This information, however, is not verified upon receipt and must be independently verified and recorded in the case record. Both single and multi-person cases sent for resolution to the districts. There are no state auto-closings of SSA prison match hits. As a federal match, we must adhere to the proper processes designated in 7 CFR 272.13, and it is monitored by USDA Food and Nutritional Services Agency. It can be identified in your system as a record source SSA. So now that we've discussed the record sources types that are included in the prison match, who would not appear in your prison match? In your prison match, you will not see those individuals who are sentenced for less than 30 days, those in local jails that are not reporting to DCJS, and individuals who are awaiting trial or sentencing. You will also not see those individuals that may have appeared in a prior match, but who you have resolved as eligible for benefits. They will be kept from the match for a period of 3 months, and on the 4th month, they will be re-included in the match to determine if there is new incarceration information available. You will also not see anybody that you have received previously that has been identified as a wrong individual, and we consider those our never sends again. So how do we identify some outliers that may not be included in our prison match? Well, the most important thing for you at the district is to determine if your local jails are indeed reporting their information to DCJS. And if not, establish a relationship with those individuals at that local jail so that you can be provided that information. If this relationship is established, please remember to document all procedures and policies. So now that we know how to identify a prison match hit source, that source will tell you how to process that specific match hit. Let's begin with the auto-close process. As I mentioned, DCJS, DOCS, and Rikers sourced prison match hits will be auto-closed if there is only a single individual in the case. OTDA will resolve in advance and provide the CNS notice. However, districts may be contacted by a client if they need to challenge the notice and they are in fact not incarcerated. If this occurs, it is important that you notify OTDA immediately of the incorrect auto closure. To do so, please contact OTDA ANQI and CC your regional reps with the following information: the prison match ID, the SSN or SIN of the individual, the correct resolution code, the correct resolution date, and any pertinent comments that need to be conveyed. If ANQI is not notified of this resolution change, the individual will again be sent the following month for prison matching and will again appear on the auto-close list, causing a costly and unnecessary fair hearing. In addition, your resolution will be incorrectly reflected on your district's cost avoidance calculations, as well as in your district's performance measure report. The district must also ensure that the case closing is stopped or the case reopened in the instance of an incorrect auto-closing. So what are some best practices when it comes to auto-closing? Well, the first is to provide your intake and eligibility workers with the list of current auto closures so that they can alert you if they are notified of an individual who may not be incarcerated and need to make a resolution change. Have a communication process set up between your intake and eligibility workers and document that process. The other resolution method for a prison match hit would be at the district level. These are for DCJS, DOCS, and Rikers match hits that contain multi-person cases, or all SSA prison match hits as they are not verified upon receipt. In the districts, you receive all prison match hits if you are upstate through the RFMS system, and if you are in New York City HRA, you may receive them through RFMS, the New York City IRIS system, or the Win-Row 678 report, depending on your unit. For DCJS, DOCS, and Rikers prison match hits that are multi-person cases, you have 30 days to resolve them. As I mentioned, they are per policy verified upon receipt, although sometimes timing issues can occur. So what are some best practices then related to those prison match hits that the district is responsible for resolving? Well, number one, as always, begin your review as soon as possible. This will prevent your data from getting stale and minimize any timing issues that could occur. It could also prevent additional benefits from being issued on a case that should be closed or otherwise rebudgeted. And while I've mentioned that DCJS, DOCS, and Rikers sourced prison match hits are verified upon receipt, we should still trust but verify our information. So that should begin with a review of WMS. Look, is the case actually active? Is it clocking down already or closed? Are benefits even being issued? Review the application date. Clients may have a new case being prepared for them to receive benefits upon their imminent release from prison. Also, review individual start dates, identify other programs that could be impacted by the prison match hit you are working, and notify those workers as necessary. And if benefits are not being issued on a case open more than a month prior to the match date, close the case. This will prevent the individual from reappearing on future prison matches. Prison Match hits can also be verified against a number of online data sources, which include VineLink, which has information from 48 states and 2,900 state and county agencies, as well as the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, online detainee locator system. For New York State, that's relevant for the Buffalo Federal Detention Facility, the Albany and Orange County Correctional Facilities, and the Allegheny, Chautauqua, Clinton, and Wayne County jails. In addition to VineLink and ICE, 2 more sources are available through CentrReport. Those are the Federal Bureau of Prisons, which contains information on your federal prisoners, and New York State Department of Corrections online database, which again includes information based on New York State correctional facilities. Once you have verified and resolved your match hit, follow up to ensure that the associated action is taken on the case. That is, if you've resolved the prison match hit as closing, follow up with the eligibility worker to make sure the case is actually closed. Ensure that it is noticed timely and that a claim has been established if necessary. And as always, document any established procedures. And a word about SSA prison match hits. Again, remember there is no auto-close related to SSA prison match hits, as they are not verified upon receipt. All single and multi-person cases must be resolved at the district level. And as they are not verified upon receipt, all SSA prison match hits must have an independent verification and be resolved within 30 days. So some best practices specific to those SSA prison match hits. But again, begin your review as soon as possible. You have 30 days to get a secondary verification and resolve the hit. SSA prison match hits are not verified upon receipt, so it is critical that you have an independent verification of that information. Not only is it critical that you obtain the independent verification, you must ensure that it is recorded and retained within the individual's case record. Beyond the resolution, follow up to ensure that the associated action has been taken on the case, and that if you have resolved the case as closed, ensure that eligibility has taken action to actually close the case. Ensure that it is noticed timely and that a claim is established if it is necessary. And as always, document your procedures. Noticing is an important part of the prison match in that the individual or the household must be provided an opportunity to challenge any adverse action to deny, reduce, or terminate benefits based on the match. To be timely, the individual must be provided a notice 10 days prior to the date of the adverse case action. Prison match notices must clearly explain what information is needed from the household and the consequences of failing to respond to the notice. This language is included for districts outside of New York City in CNS Notice F63, and for New York City in Reason Code 939 in auto-close cases, and Reason Code F63 in manually resolved cases. Claims should be established against prison match hits as appropriate. For guidance related to claiming, for SNAP cases, please see 05 ADM 15 and 04 ADM 01. For temporary assistance TA budgeting and coding questions, check out trainingspace.org in the Cash Assistance module. For SNAP prison matches, where a claim must be established, for districts outside of New York City, the active case threshold is $125, and the closed case threshold is $500. For New York City, the threshold is $500 for both active and closed cases. It should be mentioned, though, that a district can choose to establish claims on an active case amounts that are less than the mandatory threshold if your district chooses. And for TA-related prison match hits, there is no limit for the establishment of an overpayment. And I can't say it enough. Please ensure there's proper recording and document retention of all information related to your prison match hits. If you have any questions regarding the prison match, please contact myself or Bob Barkley at OTDA using the information provided on the screen. I wanted to thank you for joining me today to review the OTDA Prison Match, its sources, processing, and best practices. We truly appreciate your continued efforts in ensuring that the correct benefits are provided to eligible New Yorkers. You are the foundation of our continued success.